Good afternoon. Today we discuss the other side of the coin, buyer's expectation in this changed Vancouver real estate market. Now, this is an iPhone 6 Plus, which is a lot better picture and lighting. This is an X. It's horrible. Jesus, it's disappointing. Okay, there's a few main things we need to discuss today. This is very important. If you went back to the last post, you're gonna see seller's expectations. Buyers, you all need to see this. Look at that first before you continue watching this. You should find something in YouTube here or in the last blog or podcast number 30. This is episode 31 on the podcast, just so you know. So, buyer's expectations. You need to keep in mind that this is a new market. New. The last market lasted with a few little blips, 08 and a couple other little things, basically 16 years, from 2001 to 2016-17. So at the end of that, we were getting multiple offer situations and things were at the peak with peak pricing and price per square foot, records getting broken all over the place. After that whole long run up, 16, 17 years, whatever it was, yes, with a few blips in the middle, that's what the market resulted in. So don't think now that this is the first year into the adjustment that you're going to go and undercut sellers in this market 10, 20, 30, 40, 50%, because that's what they were experiencing at the end of the last type of market. It's not going to happen. You need to be a lot more strategic in this market and have a lot of empathy in this market to get somewhere. Actually buying something, achieving success, achieving a result. There's a few key things that you will need, those being the main two, and we're going to go into it now. So when going into this market and you're going to buy something, you need to keep in mind that the seller also needs to agree to what you're putting on paper to get a deal done. So the smartest way to go about that is put yourself in the seller's shoes. A lot of people are saying, forget sellers, they had it so easy for so long and I had to do multiple offers and go subject free and that was scary for so long, so now I'm going to stick it to them. It's not going to work yet because it's too new of a market. What you need to understand is that in today's market, even though things have shifted, at this point there still isn't a huge amount of data confirming an actual set change in the market pricing. So days on market are mounting, correct. We're starting to see more and more price adjustments down, correct. There's still not hard evidence or easy evidence to find that you can say, hi, Mr. Seller, at the peak, you were worth this. Now we're here and we are X% lower. That's going to be very difficult to do because there isn't a lot of tangible sales that have taken place in the last handful of months that are really showing a huge change in pricing. So there are some for sure. You still need to convey that and get a seller to agree to go down that road, and that's going to be the hard part. I would suggest myself, from what we're seeing, working with both buyers and sellers, that the market is very buoyant at the moment. Technically speaking, by way of the stats, it is a buyer's market at the moment. That doesn't mean you can just come in and undercut, however, and get everything accepted. You still need a receptive seller on the other end of that contract that is going to agree with your terms and pricing and everything and play along with you to get a deal done. So you need to keep in mind when going in that this is a new market. Sellers are still going to be stubborn. Sellers are still going to try and achieve. And for the most part, they probably don't need to sell. Why would someone all of a sudden need to sell? Fear? Yes. If you can find that needle in the haystack that's willing to give his property away because he's scared it's just going to keep going south, fair enough. That's what you can go and hunt for and hope you stumble upon, and that's great. That's one thing. The reality behind it is, in most cases, the bank has lent the money to the buyer when your now seller was a buyer and said, we are sufficiently satisfied with what you're doing here financially, so we're going to lend you the money. and they probably have a 5-year term in place, which is the most common. And wherever they are in that term, rates haven't yet jumped up immensely. So we can, I think, safely assume that the majority of people out there can afford to sustain the current mortgage which they have, or if their term is coming up shortly, the new mortgage which they're going to have to qualify for, hopefully, maybe. If they are fearful that things are going to keep going the way they've been going and they're on the market and you can expose that motivation of the seller, then fair enough. Again, you may have something to lean on. But again, if they are sitting there and you have no tangibility whatsoever behind your offer by way of why you're offering the number you are, other than this is just what I want to pay, your chances of success are probably very, very, very small. I think right now is a great time for you to be looking at, yes, getting in your mind that you will achieve a price that is better and in a less stressful environment than what we were seeing at the peak of the market. That is safe to say. I think this is also a time where you need to really lean on your realtor, have the expectation of them that they're going to move forward and get as much possible information on the property as they can. If I'm just throwing a paper at a property, trying to get something accepted with no justification, the chances are very, very slim that I'm going to get achievement in that approach. However, if I do approach the listing agent, me being the buyer's agent now, and saying, what's your guys' experience been? You've been on the market for 90 days, you've had one price reduction, have you had offers? Why did those offers not get accepted, or why did those offers fall apart? Were they subject offers? How close to the asking price were they? You never know what you're going to get. Some agents will regurgitate everything, and others will hold everything close and say, just try your number and we'll see what we can do once we're going back and forth. So everyone's different. Everyone's had a different conversation with their seller on what information they can divulge to the other side. You never know. So you really need to get your agent or pick an agent who understands this market, who's seen these things before over however long, obviously, a career they've had in the Vancouver real estate market, and really lean on them to get to the bottom of what the circumstance of the seller in this particular property currently is. And not, why are they selling? Was there a death? Are they getting divorced or anything like that? Now, if you can get that information, great, but don't bank on that. You need to get the information based on the environment of the market that they have seen so far. So, for example, if they've had 3 offers and they're all substantially under asking price, were those offers all in the same ballpark range? Were those offers all subject offers? What kind of subjects did they have? Did they have typical subject to inspection, subject to financing? Why did those deals fall apart? Did you have accepted offers? Yes, both of them fell apart due to financing. Okay, now you can take that back. Okay, these guys' experiences, they've had deals accepted at a range under ask, and they've both fallen apart due to financing. So how can we, other than giving them the full asking price, if that's something that we can't do, or close to their asking range, how can we make our offers more appealing? So you need to be empathetic to their current circumstance. And the only way you can do that is to find out what their current circumstance is. So empathy will go an immensely long way in a market like this, because we're trying to cater to the vulnerabilities of that seller. And if the seller can't get a group in there that has stable enough financing to purchase the property, give or take why, again, if you can find out why those subjects to financing fell through, maybe you're in a position that you don't need a subject to financing. And you know that that's a vulnerability to the seller now, because they've experienced immense negativity towards that one subject because it's killed 2 of their deals already. So you can go in and say, this is our price, I know you don't like it, but this is a number that we can actually get done here, and I don't have a subject to financing. So even though this may be below what you accepted before, those numbers you accepted before are relevant because they couldn't close on those numbers. We can close on this number. We don't have a subject to financing. I know that's appealing to you based on your experience, and this is our offer, take it or leave it. You're really gonna have to earn, by way of coming down in price, the fact that we don't have a subject to financing, so you're not vulnerable to our financing circumstance. Things like this are gonna go much further in trying to actually achieve a property than just throwing your number in there, no explanation, no comparables, not knowing the circumstance of the seller and the experience they've had so far, and just hoping. So empathy in this market is going to go a very long way, and my suggestion is that is what you lean on as a buyer today. You need to bring in comparables. If you have comparables but they're 6 months ago, then you have 6-month-old comparables. If that's all the market's going to provide, that's what you bring. And you say 6 months ago, you would have been worth this. We know that. Now, different world. You've been on for 3 months already. You've had no offers, for example, or you haven't been able to close on any of them because due to a variety of reasons they haven't removed subjects. So we believe that you're now worth down here, and that's what we're willing to pay, and this is why. Use days on market. You guys are breaking new records on days on market here. That's obviously for a reason. We believe the reason is that you are overpriced. These are the comparables. This was a different market. This is where your range is. The market isn't here anymore. So your seller needs to be realistic, Mr. Listing Agent, that those are no longer comparables. We're below this. We don't know how far below yet because there's no recent comparables, but let's make a comparable. Let's make our deal the comparable. This is what we're willing to pay. This is why, and these are the circumstances of our deal by way of subjects. Those are my two main points. You need to A, realize we are in a new market, but sellers are going to be stubborn because it's fresh. The detached market in Vancouver has been in this market for a while now, but the condo market has kind of just rolled into this in the last couple of months. So it's fresh. We need to give sellers a chance to breathe and really take it in and really get used to the environment that they now have to sell in, assuming they actually want to sell. The second thing, so patience in that regards. The second thing, which I hugely believe in this market, is empathy. You really need, again, to find an experienced agent that can go out there and get the actual details behind these current listings and why they're selling and what they should be selling for and what their experience has been, so you can have empathy towards that seller to get a deal done. You can sympathize with them on the circumstance and maybe manipulate your offer to be more beneficial to them due to things that we know they're sensitive to now, i.e. the example before that they've had 2 offers fall apart due to financing. We don't have financing. It's going to cost you. This is our price down here, but if you want to get a deal done, we're a sure thing. So patience, understanding the current market, and empathy are, I'm going to say, the 3 main things that are ideal and needed, much needed in this market. If you have any other questions on this, contact me direct, j@mckinnesmarketing.com, 604-771-4606 for any of these topics. We'd love to hear from you always and look forward to hearing from you soon. Thanks again. Bye for now.